The motorsports world is where legends are made, the unthinkable happens, and barriers are broken. One man harnesses the power of an industry every week. This is the General Tire Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with Jim Beaver.
Welcome to this week's General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Let me tell you, we say this pretty much every show, but this one is definitely an all-killer, no-filler episode. Pretty much every single segment, we have a guest, 4 blockbuster guests, one of them taking up the entire hour number 2, 3 guests taking up the whole hour number 1. Let me tell you, we are bringing it, I mean absolutely bringing it on this week's Down and Dirty Radio Show. This is why you listen to us. It's for the guests, and we are delivering today. Kicking things off in hour number 1, we have Super Cross rookie and a guy that is on a mission coming off of Atlanta and a couple of podiums there, Chase Sexton on the show. Then following Chase Sexton, we got another Supercross rider. We got a guy that's been around the block for a while, always up front, Mr. Dean Wilson on the show. Then, to cap off hour number 1, we're flipping it over to my girl, Kristen Matlock, one of the baddest women on the planet, coming off a massive win in her Razor at the San Felipe 250. We got Ms. Matlock. She's going to be talking about the Dakar Rally she went and did, and obviously the big win and score last weekend. Then, shifting gears into hour number 2, we've got a world record holder, an absolute legend, one of the greatest snowmobile riders of all time, Mr. Levi LaVallee, taking up the entire hour number 2. Let me tell you, when we say we've got guests, we've got them this week right here on the show, so you definitely don't want to go anywhere. If you love what you hear, if you're new to the show, you're tuning in on Sirius XM, welcome. All of our troops tuning in on the American Forces Network. Thank you for what you do for our country. Thank you for listening to this show. Apple Podcasts, Podcast One, Sports Byline, wherever you're listening to us, thank you. Please, when you get a chance, head over to Apple Podcasts, hit the subscribe button to the show, and you can give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on social media. I do have a few small segments. I will be taking fan questions. So once again, it's at JimBeaver15. If you do have a fan question, we will try and get it into this week's show. And, I don't know. Too many fan questions, and we're not going to be able to fit them all in because it is all killer, no filler right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Hang tight. Go and grab a cold one. Come back because let me tell you, it's going to be 2 hours of nonstop fun right here on the show. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance, responsiveness, and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
From the 2018 Master Distillers of the Year comes a bold new American whiskey and fistful of bourbon. Their whiskeys have been award-winning for generations. Now they're going all in on bourbon, blending 5 straight whiskeys to create a big balanced bourbon that stands apart from everything else. So grab yourself a fistful of bourbon, a blend of 5 bourbons created with over 100 years of whiskey blending experience. It ain't just a bourbon, it's a damn fistful. Please enjoy responsibly.
When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or @VisionWheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome one of my guests this week to the show, a guy who is probably feeling pretty comfortable about now, Chase Sexton. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess let's talk a little bit. I mean, obviously we got to talk about Atlanta. You got to be feeling pretty good heading into these last 2 rounds in Salt Lake City after the performance in Atlanta. Man, that's I feel like it was it's been a long time coming, but you got to be pretty stoked.
Yeah, you kind of nailed that one. It's been a little bit of a up and down year. I started off pretty good. Obviously, I was leading my second race in the 450 class, being a rookie this year, and ended up going down, which put me out for probably, I think, 6 races, and then came back, and it was kind of a rough go a little bit. I got a few top 5s, and then going into Atlanta, I felt pretty good on the bike, and felt like I had what it takes to be on the podium, and came out and got 2 podiums in a row, won the last race, won the heat race at the last race, and then I didn't have the best main event, but overall it was a really good trip to Atlanta, and starting to really feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to on the bike and getting the good starts and putting myself in the right positions and just kind of riding like how I used to ride on the 250. It's been the key.
Yeah. Do you like, Atlanta's kind of had the outdoor feel, and obviously Daytona's kind of that way. You had a couple good results at Atlanta. I mean, obviously, you took your very first ever 450 win in the outdoors. Do you feel like these tracks that, like Atlanta, Daytona, they kind of cater to your riding style a little bit more, or that they have that outdoors feel?
I would say so, yeah. But overall, I really do like Supercross. I like the normal tracks. For some reason, I just think Atlanta, the dirt, and just me getting good starts kind of just put me in the right positions to do what I was capable of. And I wouldn't say it was more the track. I did like that we had more room. The obstacles were a little bit bigger and just made for better racing, I felt like. So that really I gelled well with. But overall, I mean, I really do love Supercross, and I feel like I was really good at it on the 250. And now going to the big bike, it's been a little bit of a learning curve, just trying to find where to use the power at on those shorter tracks and trying to just, find better lines when it gets into that 10 minutes into the main event. So just been a learning experience, but overall I feel like I've been learning more and more and taking everything I can from every weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of my leads into my next question. I mean, obviously, you know what it takes to win a Supercross title. You've done it, on the 250s, move up into the 450 division last year for outdoors. But, I mean, a lot of people, outsiders looking in, they look at it and go, oh, it's just like the same bike with more power. Well, you and I both know that's a big difference. I mean, what's been the biggest transition from you going from the 250 to the 450?
Yeah, like you said, it's a lot more power. It's really not that much heavier, honestly. I think because we had a new Honda this year, 450. It was a new chassis and everything, and it was a lot lighter than last year. So honestly, it wasn't too much. I think it was like 8 pounds heavier than my 250, which is a little bit. But overall, just the torque of the 450 and the power they have, it can bite you when you're not paying attention, and that's kind of what I figured out throughout the first half of the season. So. That and just the main events are 5 minutes longer, obviously, and being the last race of the day, it's the track's pretty torn up, and trying to find new lines halfway through the main event has been my biggest struggle, and that's what I feel like the top guys excel at really well. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on, and just trying to just find those better lines, and that ultimately is what wins races. So.
Yeah, you think last year, and obviously we'll talk about this season a little bit because I know you missed a chunk in the middle of the year, but do you think last year the move up into the 450 division kind of mid-season between Supercross and outdoors, do you think that helped you this year in Supercross? A lot of guys wrap up a year and then they make the transition. You were kind of able to do it, and you feel like that experience in the outdoors on the 450 definitely helped you this year on the in Supercross on the 450 just because you did have some races under your belt on the bike?
I would definitely say so. I felt more comfortable coming to the first race. And obviously there was a lot of people that didn't race outdoors that were at the first race. So I was definitely racing some new people, and it's a very stacked class this year in the Premier Division. So yeah, it's been fun learning, and I'm still learning every race. So but I would say definitely racing outdoors, just getting comfortable, and it was just an easier transition going to outdoors, and same amount of distance in the races and same length. So yeah, I would just say it was definitely a good transition from the 250 to the 450, and yeah, like I said, I'm still learning, and I'll continue to learn until ultimately I'm winning races. So it's been fun so far, and I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah, how tough is it, you as a rider? You start out this year, you come out of the gate, and then you're riding pretty strong, and then you go down due to injury. And you miss a chunk in the middle of the season, and now coming back, and obviously you've regained your momentum after we saw it, at Atlanta, and we'll talk about Salt Lake here in a minute. But how tough is that for you as a rider to basically have the rug pulled out from under you for a chunk of the season and then come back? I mean, you get into that groove, and the week in, week out, I guess roller coaster that is Supercross, and then it's like everything comes to a halt. Man, how hard is it for you to fire things back up when you come back?
It's very difficult. It's not so much hard to get back racing. It's more that everyone has been in that groove, and their race pace has just grown when you've been sitting on the couch. So I would say that's just the hardest part, is trying to get back to their pace. And yeah, it's hard to really you can't really replicate racing, obviously, at the practice track. So just trying to get back up to race pace is what was difficult, and now I feel like I'm back to where I need to be. And but yeah, it was definitely a grind trying to get back to the top, or to the podium.
Yeah. So now you got a couple of podiums in Atlanta. We move into the two finales, I guess, in Salt Lake City. I mean, you've got this momentum coming out of Atlanta, man. I mean, what's it going to take to put it all together one of these next two rounds here in Salt Lake?
Yeah, definitely have some momentum on my side, and my goal this year was to get a win, at least one. So we got 2 rounds left. I feel comfortable, like I said, on the bike, and feel like my riding and everything's where I need it to be to win a race. And it all just has to kind of really fall into place. I think obviously a good start, and putting myself in the right position, and just being able to do my own laps and get some clean air. And I think that's the key. There's obviously a championship at stake with Ken and Cooper, and I obviously don't want to mess with that. But at the same time, I feel like I can really take advantage of that, and just go out there and ride the best I can. So yeah, we got 2 rounds. It feels like I was just here because last year we did 7, or I did 5 races here at the end of the year. So it's kind of a homecoming for all of us, and excited to be back at Rice Eccles.
Yeah, and that being said, obviously, you're coming off some momentum with in Atlanta. We got these 2 rounds in Salt Lake. How does that make you feel for the rest of this year, and then looking at Supercross next year? Obviously, we got outdoors and Supercross. You gotta feel pretty good. I mean, with that 450 win, in the outdoors last year, now a couple of podiums in Supercross. I mean, it's got to have you really, really excited about the future.
Yeah, coming into outdoors and obviously finishing up Supercross, I feel really good. Going into outdoors, we had that season under us last year that I did the first my debut on the 450. So definitely feel more comfortable going into there, and I feel like I definitely have what it takes to be a championship contender and go out there and win races. So that's kind of where my mindset's at. And I've been riding a little bit outdoors. This week I rode one day because it rained in Florida, so I had to go ride a sand track. So it's been nice to be able to switch it up a little bit and kind of shift my momentum towards outdoors and try and go out there and do the best I can. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to